What's up guys, it's your boy Stump, and welcome back to Rank 101, turning noobs to pros since 2020. Today we're going to be taking a look at a player called Hi, I'm Nico, also known as Justin iOS. Apparently this guy is a competitive player for a top-ranked North American Critical Ops team and asked if I could analyze his scrim gameplay for him. Obviously I said yes! I'm not sure about his rank, but he is playing on canals. As you can probably tell, now I'm starting a new format for Rank 101. Hopefully this format will keep things on track and not derail itself. But before we begin, if you like what you see, hit the like button and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. Don't forget to ring the bell to see when I upload, and follow me on Twitter and Discord in the description below. Now enough chit chat, let's get into it. Round 1. He buys an MR96 and an HE grenade. His team decides to play a lurk player on B site while the rest of his team goes A site. The first thing they do is go tons, which is not a good idea. If you know anything about positioning, it's that the closer you are to an elevated platform, the less you will see of the enemy player that is on top of the said platform. Tons is lower than the rest of the map, and should only be used if you are rotating, not if you're taking bomb sites. At this point, two of his teammates go down on T bridge, and his other teammate tries to take a 3v1 on A main. But here's where everything goes wrong for Nico here. He pushes while looking at the wall going up the stairs. Alright, two things. One, there are 3 players in A mid. While pushing up and getting 3 headshots would be satisfying to watch, it is very impractical. And 2, you pushed up the stairs just in general. The other team already knows that you guys were in tons, since they killed you from both sides, on T bridge and in mid. Your best option would have been to just hold stairs and wait for them to push you. Then after taking one of them out, they would have most likely tried to push you from both sides. That would have been the moment to go up, but instead, you ended up dying. Round 2. He buys a flashbang and nothing else, so he's probably trying to save for the 3rd round. His entire team decides to push B long, only to get bombarded with a ton of grenades. I noticed that his team threw the flashes a little late. You should throw those flashes into B site from the car on B long. After the flash is clear, you all push into B site, get a couple frags, and then you go pick up the P90 from the other team, but go down just as you're turning around to the players in the back of B site. The reason you died was because you turned the wrong way. I know it sounds crazy, but think about it. You turn towards the wall after you pick up your P90. What you need to do is worry about your current vicinity and where you can be attacked from. Since you came for B long and are near mid connectors and CT alley, those should be your priorities, not the wall. Round 3. He buys the Vector and an HE grenade and a smoke grenade. Typically, if you're going to play with an SMG, it is better to have armor than grenades. To be honest, you could have bought the AK-47 with armor, and with the other team sitting on stacks of cash, you probably would have been better off having to bought it. Anyways, the entire team decides to push A and goes A mid, and get flashed, and completely wipe off the map. It would be best if, once you see grenades coming your way, to look for an alternative route and push that way together. Now the best way to push A site as the breach is through L connector using grenades. A mid doesn't offer much cover as connector, but you can block off A entrance with a smoke so you can pass through mid to deter the enemy team from pushing out. Round 4. He buys full, and his team starts to go A, but one player tries to snipe a player from mid connector with the MR96 while the other tries to lurk. The other 3 just camp in A mid and swap guns for a bit. The only grenade that I see you use this round is your HE grenade, when you should have used your flash and or smoke to enter the site. You know there are already 2 players on A site, and you take one out, but your buddy comes behind you and he goes down from the guy on T bridge. You try to go A mid, which ends in your demise. Firstly, if you have grenades, use them. Secondly, you need to pay more attention to what's going on around you, because a guy could come up behind you and take you by surprise. Round 6. He buys full and is dropped an AUG. His team decides to go push A again, and he decides to camp tons. As you are camping, 2 players come out from A entrance and take out a couple of your guys, so you go to help. Honestly, this wouldn't have happened if the bomb carrier wasn't camping out in the open. You got backstabbed. It happens, but you already know there are players on B site because you heard the flash go off B long. I would have just stayed and waited for the other players to rotate because your team was spotted around A. Round 7. He full buys and his team decides to push A again. Nico decides to lurk for a bit around car, but decides to follow his team late. He ends up getting spotted from mid connector and taken down. If you're going to lurk, commit to it. but make sure you are out of sight just enough to take the enemy by surprise. So instead of holding mid connector, you should have held tons from T-bridge. Round 8. He full buys with the SG and they all rush A. No, for real this time, they all rushed in, though without grenades. However, it would be argued that you don't need to flash into a site due to bad throws and the other team avoiding it, which gives away your position. Your crosshair position was not the best here, as you tried to flick him from the wall and you missed. You should have had your crosshair next to the corner where you saw him throw the grenade from, so you don't have to compensate for over-aiming. Round 9. He full buys with the SG again, and his team pushes A again. 2 of your teammates go down at A entrance, but you guys still decide to push into site even though it's smoked off. Again, you don't use all your grenades here, and you do the same thing you did on round 4. You also push through the smoke, which is a bad idea in most cases, especially this one. If you can barely see an enemy player through the smoke, they can definitely see you. It would have been best if you didn't push that hard and waited for the smoke to clear, or use your grenades and rush in. Round 10. He full buys and his team decides to go B site for a change. After getting bombarded with flashes and grenades, he decides to rotate to A site with 2 other teammates. Unfortunately, they all get spotted on T-bridge and get knocked out. I would have just stayed behind cover or went back to tree to try and get picks, because you'd put yourself at a 2v1 and you had no cover to hide behind. Round 12. He has an SG, but I'm not sure if he has any grenades, since he doesn't use them. His team all rushes B side while, as he's doing so, spots an enemy player, but doesn't take the shot. When your crosshair is on an enemy player, it will turn red, meaning you can shoot and kill it. His turns red 3 times before the player starts shooting and he finally sees him. Maybe he was focusing on the radar just a little too much and didn't notice the crosshair. Round 13. Team switch and he buys the GSR and a flash. Just like in round 1, you end up making the same mistake on the stairs. Your teammate goes down in front of you and you don't even acknowledge it and end up dying the same way. Remember to learn from your mistakes and don't make them again. Round 15, he holds on to an SA-58 and full buys. When your teammate went down on A site, you should have gone all the way into A site and not hang back. The SA-58 is better at close to medium range, but not at long range like where you were holding. You should always replace a teammate's position if they go down, so you can try and stop their push. Round 17, he buys full and goes A site. Honestly, in this situation, you already had gotten one guy in your mid spray while the other guy just started his. You could have moved your crosshair over sooner and gotten him, but in the end, you just got outplayed. Round 18. I believe he full buys, but I'm not sure. He decides to go B after holding mid for a bit. As he's holding B long, he takes out 2 guys there, but ends up getting backstabbed from mid connector. Again, you got outplayed and couldn't have reacted in time to stop him. Round 19. Force buys with an AUG. You could have full bought with the M4, but whatever. He decides to hold mid and then switches to A site and gets taken out from mid. You need to be aware of your position and making sure you are covered, because you don't know where the enemy is going to be coming from. Round 20. He buys an SA-58 and armor with a flash and smoke as a force buy. You see your teammate on the right side of the van, so you should have held the left side of the van instead of switching back and forth. Again, you should keep your crosshair where the enemy is going to be, not on the wall where they will be coming from. Round 22. Uses the AUG from the last round and hopefully bought grenades. Just like in round 19, you'll always need to be behind cover, especially on CT bridge. You try and hold a long angle, but you're not covered on your right side. In both cases, using the van is a good idea to keep you covered from mid on CT bridge. Round 23, last round. Buys full with the AUG and rushes A site with his team. He camps mid to try to catch any rotators, but ends up getting gunned down from the car on mid bridge. Sometimes, if you repeatedly camp the same spot over and over again, the other team will most likely catch on and know where at least one of you is going to be. It is important to change up your strategy just in case something like this happens. Overall, not a bad second half in this match. One thing that I would suggest doing is start thinking like the other team. Nothing too crazy like trying to read their minds or anything like that. I'm talking about where you think they're going to push next after you throw a grenade or take out one of their teammates. I do this sometimes while making these ranked 1-on-1 videos while watching you guys play, and about 8 times out of 10 I would have guessed correctly. This is called reading a player, as in reading what the player is most likely going to do next. You can read players by using the radar to look for other players across the map and try to intercept them before a choke point or look for alternative routes that they could potentially go. It all comes down to having good game sense in order to be a good player reader. And that's the end of the video. Hope you guys learned something, but before you go, could you leave a like if you enjoyed this video, and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. Don't forget to ring the bell to see when I upload, and follow me on Twitter at Stump. And follow me on Twitter and Discord in the description below. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, stay safe. Bye bye.